Guys, I'm a little bit late tonight. Just working on the old equipment here. One second, and then we're ready to get going. Cool. Last thing, iPad window. Hello. I thought I would continue working on the piece that I was doing Tuesday. Testing mic. I'll just take the music down a little bit. There we go. Last time I was working on something a little bit different than what I usually do. I've been doing mostly like science fiction pieces and stuff like that, and I didn't really have a plan for last time, so I went through some sketches I'd done and landed on this Elden Ring fan art I'd started. Because that game is the bomb. And I'd put down most of the line art here, and next thing I'm gonna do is color it. So I started the process of coloring, but I wanted to go back and add a little bit more detail first, because I don't have the most amazing attention span with large, complicated pieces like these. They usually take me at least a few sittings, and I'd say I've worked on this one for 2 hours. I like how it's turning out. It's a fantasy scene. Up here are a couple mystical ladies, and in the background is a castle, some ruins. And so the right of that, there's this large tree, and it's like larger than life. It's as big as a mountain. That was the idea, so I just thought it was the cool thing to do, so let's keep doing it. I hope your night's going okay. I don't know why this day seemed to attract a lot of difficulty. I don't know if that's just the way it gets after, so many days of rain. It is what it is. So if you're having a rainy day, just kicking it at your house or wherever, thanks for joining. Let's chill and shake off like this rainy day. I haven't felt, I don't know, I don't want to spend this whole stream time complaining about stuff. Everything's cool. I'm just tired today. I need to get revved up. I need some energy. I need some creativity. And what better way to do that than to draw some cool stuff. I guess I'm just gonna dive in and get started on my favorite part of this piece, which is this giant ancient tree. I did put a color layer down for it. There. That's the color it's gonna be. A shining golden tree. Which I'm gonna have so much fun shading this, you don't even know. Okay, I've drawn like 5 lines. I'm already in a way better mood. Sweet. Oh, and I've got a crazy kitten. You're gonna have to find something to play with that's not right up here. Oh, you can't be crazy with me. Be crazy somewhere else. Go, be free. Yes, this kitten is 5 months old, and he's sure acting like it. We'd love to see it, but he's got the crazies. And all the thunder and lightning and stuff has got him all jacked up. Like, jacked up on Mountain Dew. Put on all these cool, twisty, crazy lines. I draw a lot of science fiction art lately, so I really don't get the opportunity to draw nature as much as I'd like. Oh, hey, Brando. Brando says, Lost Grace discovered. Indeed. Indeed, it has been discovered. Have I beat the fire giant yet? It's a great question. I don't have a great answer. Answer's no. Try as I might. He's very giant. And very fire. I have not been able to beat him yet, which is really frustrating because I already got good. I should know how to do this. I've soloed every other boss in the game. However, this one is causing me trouble. On Tuesday, though, when I was drawing, I did get an offer for someone to come in on multiplayer and help me defeat the fire giant. So maybe I'll do that tonight. I would really, really appreciate being able to progress in this game. You know. Thanks for asking. Have you beaten the fire giant yet? Brando says, I'll get him. I hope so. And the drawing looks neat. Thanks. I appreciate that. How's your night going? Right now, I'm just putting in the suggestion of where leaves will go. It has many leaves on it. Obviously, it's a giant tree. I'm not going to draw them all individually. I just like to throw down like these leafy blobs. Of varying line widths, so it looks like masses of leaves. And then go in with shading, and then just kind of make it look like something. Brando burned his mouth on a pizza roll. And he's calling it a win. sounds like a win for the pizza roll, but you were chowing down on some righteous snacks, so I guess that is a win. What boss are you on in the game? I want to compare our progress. It's kind of looking tree-ish. I don't think I've ever eaten pizza rolls without burning my mouth. I think like on the instructions it says place 7 rolls on a plate. Microwave for a minute and 10 seconds. Place pizza roll on the roof of your mouth and close your mouth until it burns. That's what the instructions say. Oh my gosh, pizza rolls. I was eating so many of those. I've moved on to Hot Pockets. I went to Sam's Club and I bought an industrial sized box of Hot Pockets, so. Then I got home and I was like, the only thing I have to eat is Hot Pockets because I bought 12,000 of them at Sam's Club. And that's my story. That's why I'm stuck here in life. And it's great to go to those big box stores, save you some money, buy in bulk, but then you're stuck with a billion of something. You're on Margit? You can do it. I believe in you. I'm starting to wonder if I've put too many lines down. Oh. Let's do some editorial decision making. So I can let the branches stand out a little bit more where there are branches. Yeah, so if you're drawing something like with a lot of detail, there is no rule telling you can't put your detail down and erase around something else that also has a bunch of detail. I guess if you are a realist, like you make art that looks exactly like real life, have at, but what I'm doing is I'm picking out my branches here. I want them to stand out. So I'm just deleting a little bit of the crazy swooshies I put around it so that we can see it better. I think less is going to be more with this piece, honestly. Less will be more. So I'll just focus on the branches here. The style of drawing trees is something I've been kind of working on over the years, and now I just kind of end up drawing trees the same way. Every time. The same with like my clouds, a certain style. There's so many ways to draw things, guys. I just kind of like decided I'm allowed to have artistic license, and I'm gonna make them look like not realistic, but kind of like more mystical. think I really got inspired to draw a lot of my line art by like looking at my mom's tarot cards. She had the Rider-Waite pack. And the style of the artwork on those tarot cards is very medieval. And so I kind of got like into that. Yeah, so this weird swooshy thing on the top left, that's supposed to be a cloud. Okay. A lot of detail to put in. So everything here in this mid-ground is grass. And because this is an actual area, I'm going to pull up a reference photo. Limgrave, it's called. I'm being so good tonight. I usually almost never use reference photos. I need to. I just don't always feel like it. Here it is. I can actually show you guys the reference photo I'm using. Here, I'll put it up on the screen real fast. Oh, well, it's not. Stand by. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm going for. I decided to, it's really dark looking, which is sweet. I mean, this is the landscape I was using as a reference, but you know, we're gonna make it Meg style, as always. That's how we do. Less will be more. Okay. Now I'm being touchy about where all my windows are, which is not important for anything. I just feel it. I'm just feeling it. Oh, movement. Cool. Alright, back to what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. Reference photo back up. I don't know. I think I'm close enough. I think I'm just gonna go with it. So it's this area has a lot of different rises and falls in elevation. So just like with the tree, I'm gonna rough in landscape. Nothing crazy. Let's just add some trees here. And this is kind of a challenge for me. I usually do this with pencil. So I'm curious how this will turn out. I'm just gonna kind of experiment with shading with the pen. I was gonna do it all with color, but what I realized is that there is a lot of backdrop here, so let's use some darker shades to kind of push it further back in the composition from our subjects. So like right here, it's kind of too far away to see the details of it, so let's just kind of... I want there to be a lot of contrast in this piece. I want the things that I drew to be far away actually look pretty far away. some buildings here. Right here's a castle. Stormfront Castle, I believe. And I see from the reference, there's one tiny tree right here. Oh my god, I love that. Right here, I mean. I should zoom in, you can't really. Boop. Let's see, this looks to be like some kind of rampart. Make it castle-y. Tower right here. This is what I love about digital. I can take things away that I decide no longer belong there. When I work with real pen and ink on paper, you better make sure that you planned it pretty well. Some more ramshackle buildings. Let's put a pathway up there. Some windows. More vegetation. So I made this like a series of cliffs, but now that I'm looking at the reference photo, it is actually like there's some buildings up there I didn't put on, so let's make that a building. I'm trying not to get too crazy distracted by the detail because there's so much to do, but I want it to look like things. There's so many things I wanted to do today, but it was raining. Like, 'tis the season to have your yard, you know, kept up. And it's been raining all week, so I've got the trash town house on the block. It's kind of psychologically difficult for me because it's not that I take pride in my yard or anything. I take pride in other things, but at the very least I don't want to be obnoxious to my neighbors, and kind of getting to that point where I think my neighbors are like, so are you ever gonna mow your yard or not? I will, I promise. I kind of want to leave apology notes in their mailboxes, but I think that's really creepy to do that. This is a little tower thing. There's been multiple times I wanted to leave something in someone's mailbox, like something nice, and then I realized, like, that is not the kind of society we have anymore. That, and I think it's illegal to put things in mailboxes, but I was walking by this one house, they had super dope light decorations up. Every season they're changing it up, making it, you know, making it festive. think it was like St. Patty's Day that I finally was just like, my God, I wish I could communicate with them how much I enjoy their displays. I was like, oh, I'll just leave a cute card in their mailbox. No, that's creepy. So I didn't do it. So if you happen to be here or you know someone who... It doesn't even have to be this specific house, but if you know someone who always goes festive, I want you to thank them for me. It's really easy to just say, forget that stuff. Life is difficult. I'm not being festive. But these people are like, no. No matter what, we're going festive. This is kind of sort of starting to look like a castle. I say this every time, but if you are working digitally and you're like me where you zoom in to work on your details quite often, just take a second and make sure that you zoom out and get the full picture, because you could just be adding in all sorts of things that you consider to be super fire, looking good, and when you zoom out, it doesn't match at all with the rest of the style of the painting. Don't be like me. It took me way too long to figure that out. I can't honestly tell what this is by the reference photo, so we're gonna make it just like a spiky outcropping of rocks. Oh, I'm already getting inspired for my next Elden Ring piece, because I was just thinking to myself, oh, these kind of look like giant crystals. Which is cool. But there's tons of environments that are literally just giant crystals. Alright, this is a massive tower. Let's make it more tower-like. And these match, so I'm gonna try to make them look similar, but this one's a little bit closer. There we go. Yeah. But yeah, I'm already super inspired for my next piece. Like, in this same game, there's tons of just luscious, gorgeous environments. My favorite is, there's these underground zones that are basically just made of giant crystals. Just crystals. It's so cool. Okay, this is supposed to be a bridge. Yeah, I'm starting to look at the reference photo, and a lot of the stuff I thought was one thing ended up being another. If I'm drawing something that has a lot of things going on when I do the rough sketch, I kind of just... I want to put my ideas down as fast as possible, so I'm looking at the image, but I'm kind of just approximating shapes I see, so I can get them down really fast, and then go back later and then add the detail. And I originally thought this bridge was like a cliff, but no, that is man-made. So let's add little details to it. And these are actually like little arches. And these are some neat ruins. So I guess we'll just make some crumbly looking rock. That'll do. Okay. Is anyone doing any fun rainy day stuff right now? Or boring rainy day stuff? Pull this back up. I personally had a bunch of work to do. Graphic design work, which I love doing, like posters for events and logos and stuff. So I was working on a logo for a gal today. She does comedy. It's really cool. I was like, ooh, comedy. Come with some neat stuff for that. And went through a few different design things, and I didn't quite nail it. That's what the first pass is always about whenever I do design work for people. Because that's the thing, I don't need people to tell me exactly what to do. That's the thing. It's like some people have exactly what they see in their head, what they want their design to look like, which is sweet. Let's collab. Let's do that thing. And then others are like, well, I kind of have this idea. I want it to have at least have this object in it, and I don't know what else. I'm like, all right. So in cases like that, I'm always like, how about I'll sketch a few different things. And you can tell me what you like or dislike about all of the options, and then I'll redraw something based upon your feedback. Make these branches a little thicker so they stand out. Ooh. Personally, that's my favorite way to do design work for people. I mean, I love just being left to my own devices and be like, oh, they'll trust me to do something that they like. And then other times it's like, I don't know, I can hear what people like about certain things. It's completely different from my taste, and I end up making something that I would not otherwise not have made. Which is pretty sweet. I like doing that. I wish I could do that with, like, I don't know, I love to play music too. And the same thing happens if I write a song and I bring it to different musicians. Like, hey, we put some drums to this or some bass or something. They often don't make choices I would. Which is awesome. That's the human experience, y'all. And it... with our powers combined. We create rad stuff. cool. There's that. I don't know what this stuff here is gonna be. I think it's like a fog. Let's make some fog. It looks mysteriously just like my tree branches, so let's add a little flare. And you might think to yourself, your clouds are just like your tree branches. Yeah. Work smarter, not harder. I think, you know, as an artist, if you have like that flare, certain flares that you do every time, flare like these curly cues on the fog and stuff I have on the clouds. I think that is a good way to build work recognition too. Like, that looks like so-and-so clouds. Very cool. Or just subconsciously people will be like, oh, that looks cohesive. Because I've done science fiction pieces, and several of them, and the clouds and the trees look like this. I don't know, I think I'm just at the point in my life where I've drawn stuff, so like I'm done trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm gonna stick with a style that I personally enjoy to draw and I think looks cohesive, and I'm sticking with it. Alright, let's add some dark shapes to the background. Do I like that? Maybe. Hard to say. I think this is the first castle I've drawn like in my style. This seems almost shameful. Fixing it now. I'm gonna have to hide some morels in here or something, because I cannot walk 15 feet without someone showing me a picture of all the morels that they've harvested, that they've gathered. Which I say in a joyous way. I love seasonal excitement. We'll add some morels. Like, I'm surprised there's not like a seasonal Midwest morel menu thing. I guess they're too expensive for restaurants to keep in stock and use and stuff. Wouldn't it be like freaking amazing if they like got the flavor of the morel and just kind of made like some additive, and then we could go to Starbucks and get like a morel spice latte. Somebody local, if you've got the morels, you got the goods. I want to see some seasonal food fun items. Though a mushroom latte would be disgusting. I am so much more focused today than I was yesterday. I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better. At this point, I'm going through and putting in little detail lines. These kind of indicate, you know, the grass, the scenery. I do not always have the brain calibration to do this. But when I'm in the mood, it's really, really, really relaxing. So I'm digging on it. Showing up very well. Let me zoom in more. There we go. I can see it, but you're watching it. I don't even know how to describe or convey it. Like, I know how to put my iPad on the computers and then so you guys can all see it, but the how is completely lost on me. It's like Willy Wonka where they put Mike TV into the TV. And Gene Wilder's like, we're breaking you down into thousands of little pieces and you'll be reassembled. That's my understanding of technology. I don't know. I think Brando's here. He understands this. I know you know radio waves. But the way that I get my iPad display on the computer, I'm not drawing on the computer. I'm drawing on a separate iPad, but it I don't even have it plugged in. It's just I'm using that screencasting thing. Ugh, I better find a different subject. I'm starting to sound like my mom. Yeah, my mom was born in 1952, so... She calls the fridge like the icebox. Fun fact. People used to keep their food good by putting it in a box filled with ice. So, a cooler. They called it the icebox. Oh, it disappeared. I'll place it back on there for you. My iPad got shy as soon as I started talking about it and was like, no, I'm hiding. There it is. Maybe. Stand by. While I fix this, I can talk about my day a little bit. I'm blessed to lead an interesting life. There it is. It's been a little bit more interesting than I would like it to be lately. We're just having straight technical difficulties now. This is what I should do. I should never... Just like some people, as soon as you start like talking about some people, they get embarrassed and they just want to leave. This is what's happening to my... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk about you. Let's try it again. Yeah, my life's been a little bit more interesting than it needs to be. Usual life stuff, everyone deals with it. But one morning I woke up because I heard a giant crash. And I just kept laying there because I have a kitten. And I was like, oh, I knocked over another plant. Rest in peace plant, because it's been systematically murdering all of my plants. He doesn't know any better. So I figured it was like it's another dead plant. I've been moving them places that I can't reach them, but it took me too long to figure that out. And so I got up to make my morning coffee, and I was like, all right, what did we murder today? And there was just, like, it looked dirt just all over my floor. I thought it was plant dirt, and then I looked closer, and it looked like construction materials. And I realized, I looked up, and there was a massive hole in the ceiling. Just, maybe massive. Massive is exaggerating. Any hole in the ceiling is too big. But the size of what a creature could fall through. And so I asked the kids, I was like, hey, do you know anything about this? And they were looking at me wide-eyed, like, something's going on. Then started getting freaked out, like, okay, we're not alone in this house. I've had work. This is new. I had to just decide never to work again. Have faith. I do. Have faith. So, cliffhanger, my story. We decided we weren't alone in the house. And, so I grabbed a broom, I started looking around. I was like, there's a possum, there's a squirrel, there's something, there's a skunk. Kept looking around. Ready for battle. I was ready to defeat something. And I never found anything, guys. So I have this theory that there's this small creature living, like, in my closet. Or something. I hear sounds. I think it's just still in the walls. I think it decided, like, yeah, that howl is bad news. We'll just avoid it, but I don't even know what to do. Like, I should probably put a trap up in the ceiling to try to catch whatever's moving around up there. Because I do know I found the hole on the outside of the house. Like, there it is. This is how it's accomplishing the shenanigans. And aha, I think it's gonna work. And so my first thought was, okay, put something over the hole, nothing will come in ever again. And then I realized, like, if it's stuck in the ceiling and my walls, it will probably perish. which would make me really, one is upsetting, two, it's just, that would be an even worse situation than I'm dealing with right now, because it would just be the smell of death. We want to avoid that. Okay, I'm getting kind of bummed out because I've restarted this a handful of times to try to get it working. And it's not wanting to cooperate. So worst case scenario, I can't draw anymore. Best case scenario, I have to practice my guitar anyway, so we can maybe sing some songs, or I don't know. We'll find some way to hang out. It ain't too hard. Oh, but speaking of songs though, if you live in Pittsburgh, tomorrow I'll be hosting a karaoke night at TJ Leland's. Which, that is going to be super fun. We always have the best time. Like, we got people who are like really good singers. And that's important. But more than that, we have entertainers. And everyone, I really feel like, are like just good people to hang around, you know, like just solid. Like, you don't have to worry about, you know, someone being rude or anything, but completely supportive. It's a really good time. Yeah, bear with me. I've got to close some stuff out to see if it fixes my issue. So, I don't know. I think this will help right here. This is kind of fun. I've done this like I don't know. I haven't missed a day for like the past 3 or 4 weeks doing this stuff. I've never really had a catastrophic technical issue like I'm having right now. I mean, if this is catastrophe, this isn't so bad. Could be worse. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to close out some programs. See what happens. Is the, if anyone can tell me in chat, is the video choppy too? You're now my technical support crew. We're going to have to, I need to elect someone head of technology right now. I feel like I'll be the COO. I'll be the Chief Operations Operator. I need a CTO, a Chief Technology Officer. Takes a village. Okay, quit. Yeah, I don't really want to stop the stream, because that introduces issues like with people trying to find it again. Application not responding. Okay. I'll keep fixing this. Maybe I'll tell my favorite karaoke story. I've gone to... Okay, so karaoke is one of my favorite things to do in the world. Basically. And, so I've been to a lot of karaoke nights. Tons of karaoke nights. Super choppy. All right, thanks for letting me know. Let's fix it.